You got to think that the lower back of Luke Altmyer is in a little bit of pain right now because he is putting this team on his shoulders. Folks, this is definitely not the same Illinois team that we saw last season.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
I talked about this in the Toledo game. I tweeted it during the game, and this might be the MO of Illinois football going forward in 2023. Luke Altmyer is Illinois, and Illinois is Luke Altmyer because he is putting this team on his back right now. Luke Altmyer is going to carry Illinois as far as he can take them. He's the bright spot of orange and blue football. Right now, they've had struggles on defense. We're going to get to that. Offensive line hasn't looked good. This is a run game that doesn't have a bell cow last year. They don't have a guy that they can lean on in the running game. Right now, the best run game for Illinois is Luke Altmyer getting outside the pocket and creating on pass plays with his legs and scrambling forward for a whole lot of yardage. This is an Illinois team that looks a lot different from last season. You don't have the physicality up front on offense in a run game. You don't have the great secondary that you had last season. You just, on defense, you just don't have that attack. You don't have that pursuit. It just doesn't seem like you have guys flying and flowing to the football. And once again, I'll get to defense here in just a minute. I want to start with the offensive side of the football for Illinois. You talk about Luke Altmyer being the catalyst and being able to carry Illinois as far as he can take them. Boy, that offensive line right now, it doesn't look like it's doing any favors. Allowed 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss for the Kansas Jayhawks in this football game. And when you look at Kansas's defensive front, when you look at Kansas's defense in general, this is not, you're going to see, I think, some better fronts in the Big Ten conference schedule. So this offensive line needs to get shored up and shored up quick. Otherwise, Luke Altmyer is going to get hit, and he's going to get hit. And how much of this can Luke Altmyer take? How much weight can be put on Luke's shoulders until maybe he comes crumbling down in one way or another, right? Outside of Luke Altmyer's scrambles, this is an offense that just doesn't have much of a run game. I know they got behind early, so they kind of had to abandon it. Like, you look at the rush yards for Reggie Love and Josh McCray in this game, 12 carries, 65 yards. It tells the story that says, yeah, we got to put the ball in the air a little bit more because Kansas was moving the football down the field so much. But I can see it with my own eyes. I look at this watching live, and I'm sure I'll see it when I watch this game back, that they just don't have the talent. The offensive line can't get a consistent push, and then the talent in the backfield is not Chase Brown. It's not that generational back that they had the last few seasons at Illinois. It's a combination where you have something that I don't think Brett Bielema wants to deal with right now. You don't have that physicality. You don't have that blue-collar mindset right now. Right now, Illinois' offense is best when you put the ball into the hands of number 9 and see what happens. Make a play with your legs. Hit the pass play down the field. Right now, the running game is just a compliment. It's kind of flip-flop from last year where Chase Brown was the bell cow. You hand it to him, and you use touchdown Tommy DeVito to kind of balance it out a little bit in the pass game. It's flip-flopped, and I'm not sure that's the way that Brett Bielema wants to structure his team, but that's just the way it is this year. That's how, Luke Altmyer, how far can he carry Illinois football, I think, is a big question for this offense right now. Here is a fact. You were never going to win in a shootout against Kansas, against an explosive team that wants to get up and down the field. Once this game turned into a track meet early and Kansas was able to do whatever they wanted to do, scoring 4 touchdowns on their first 5 drives, right? As good as Luke Altmyer was down the stretch, willing him back and making this interesting down the stretch, Illinois is not built for that. They are not built for that. So let's talk more about Illinois' defense because, folks, this is a 180 flip. Okay, you can talk about the secondary. Matthew Bailey's out, arguably their best defensive back. Kansas, right? There all those returning receivers and the backs, and of course Jalon Daniels. coming back, and the explosiveness and the talent and the speed you could see was on display, and it really looked like a mismatch at some point. You can talk about that matchup mismatch in terms of the secondary. But man, coming into this season, I thought Illinois had one of the best front sevens in the Big Ten. And you look at what happened these first two games. You can talk about the first game. All right, decent Toledo team, really good MAC team, the MAC champs, all that stuff. And then, of course, you face a much better team and more talent offensively in Kansas, but they just look slow at times. They look lumbering. They're not attacking. They're not flowing to the football, attacking the football. They're not doing that like they did a year ago. Yes, Johnny Newton did a lot better job getting into the backfield and wreaking a little bit more havoc with a couple of sacks in this game. But it's just that front seven. I'd like to think it is a good front seven, but look at what Kansas was able to do in the run game. Busting off big chunk yardage. 15-yard, 20 yards, 25-yard runs for Devin Neal, for Fairchild up the middle. And sometimes those holes that they were able to run through were huge. It's not like they were breaking 3 or 4 tackles to get to that 20 yards. Sometimes they weren't getting touched until 7-10 yards down the field. And that's what's really concerning to me right now for Illinois. If those backs on those opposing teams are able to just walk their way and they're not getting touched until 10 yards down the field, that is a big change from what Illinois football was last season, and there are some concerns, folks. I think when you face an Illinois team with the secondary that you have, they're trying to figure it out, and when you're figuring it out against the Kansas team that's explosive, you kind of maybe think that this was going to happen. But I really thought Illinois would be able to maybe defend this Kansas run game a little bit more. But when you were able to kind of go after the secondary early in this game, and then the run game was as successful as it was going to be very difficult to stop Kansas in this game. And boy, Kansas, I'm going to give them all the credit in the world. They look really good, folks. I think that they're going to be Big 12 contenders this year. Their defense looks improved. Their offense is as explosive as it's ever been right now. But the fact of the matter remains that Illinois's got a lot of problems. Illinois's got some concerns. If they want to compete for Big Ten West championships, it's the trenches. We know what it takes to win, specifically in the Big Ten West, that you got to be good in the trenches. And right now, the offensive line, the front seven, those are concerns, I'd probably say right now, for the Illinois Fighting Illini. And when you take a look at a Brett Bielema team, that's not usually what you see. You usually see teams that are built from the inside out. Now that you don't have that great running back talent in Chase Brown, you can really tell, and I think you even saw it going back to the bowl game where Chase Brown did not play in this game, where you can tell that he maybe made the offensive line look a little bit better than it really was. And you see the numbers with this O-line, with this run game, what they allowed these Kansas defenders getting into the backfield and knocking down Luke Altmyer. Like right now, their best run game is Luke Altmyer getting outside the pocket and running around. That's their best run game, and I don't think that's what Brett Bielema wants out of his football team. I think he's playing out of his comfort zone. He's coaching out of his comfort zone here right now. I want to hear what you guys think. What do you think of this Illinois team right now? I think they got some concerns, and they need to figure things out. What is the next week? They play Penn State. Good luck. Good luck. That's going to be a very difficult task. Penn State is one of the best looking teams in the country right now. Leave your thoughts below what you think of Illinois football. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.